Varsity House podcast at Hall of Fame Village with Devin Jordan, former Ohio State player and current offense assistant at Ohio State, specifically receiver room. Got a lot of talent. Kind of just, obviously we're at your camp, and also founder of Beyond the Game, and we're at the 6th year of the Beyond the Game camp. And so, being a coach at Ohio State with a lot of, things on your plate, a lot of talent that you got to, attend to and things like that. How do you find time to, give back to the community and put on these camps?
It's really hard, but I think at the end of the day, you saw Coach Tressel was at our camp today, and he was my college coach, and so he always used to motivate us when I was a player to say, no matter how big you get, you can always find time to make a difference in someone else's life. When I was a player, every Friday, we were about to prepare for a game, he would send 25 of us out in the community, whether it be at children's hospitals, whatever the case may be. We found time to give back. So I think you kind of get instilled in that purpose, and it becomes hard, but I think at the end of the day, it evens out to Coach Tressel because he actually instilled that into me. And so for me, starting Beyond the Game and being at Ohio State, we get busy, but then sometimes you don't realize who you inspire. So, for example, Paris Johnson Jr., he saw what I was doing. So he said, hey, Coach Jordan, how do you structure this? How do you do this? And so guess what? He wins an award, for giving back to the community. So it's like, you don't know who's going to inspire you and who you're going to inspire. So you find time to do that, and you keep that tradition going. He's going to eventually, Paris, he's going to inspire someone else after him. So it all starts with someone who gave to me and taught me the way, and I took that and kind of gave that to Paris. And guys are in our facility, guys like G. Scott, a lot of guys come up to me and say, hey, Coach, like Jackson last year, hey, Coach, what was that? Where were we at yesterday? I saw it on my Instagram. I had a camp. I said, Coach, man, I want to do that. Guess what? This past week, Jackson had a camp. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't know who you're going to inspire. Jackson's busy. He had a camp. He gave back to some kids. So guess what? Hopefully one day, some kid that's at Jackson's camp is going to be, hey, man, when I make it to where you are, I want to give back too. So you got to keep inspiring people, find time, and guess what? Your legacy will be just that.
Talk to us a little bit about Beyond the Game and what it's about, why it's important to you. Just what's the message, and kind of what do you want to share with others about Beyond the Game?
Yeah, so really for me at Ohio State, my career ended short. I had dreams to go to the NFL, and at the end of the day, I had a background in education. A lot of kids that were coming in with me were just like NFL or bust, which a lot of kids have that mentality nowadays. So with me, being a college coach, transitioning into that world, I wanted to do more. So I created a nonprofit called Beyond the Game to make sure kids understood there's other avenues to not only be successful, but also ways that you can get back. So really using your platform, as an Ohio State football player, coach, whoever you may be, using that platform to give back. And I think for me, that's the message of Beyond the Game, is literally going beyond the game and finding ways to give back and inspire others to be more than what they are just in that realm.
Now this is so much more than the camp. Talk about the other events that you guys do at Beyond the Game, and just what else you guys do for the kids in the community.
Yeah, so right now we have two really big programs that are blowing up. It's our in-school program for third grade kids. One's called Guys with Ties, and one's called Girls with Pearls for third grade kids. And we talk about first impressions, how to introduce yourself, having confidence in yourself. And those programs are blowing up all across the country. Actually, there was I believe a news segment today in Columbus about Guys with Ties, and there's a lot of interest of growing that program in Columbus. Seeing our players interact with those Guys with Ties members who came to practice, it's phenomenal to see. But also just that inspiration you're giving to kids at a young age that has nothing to do with sports at all. It's all about who you are, who you become, leadership, how to set a table, dining etiquette when you go to restaurants. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's so much more we're teaching. And I think that's something that inspires me, because obviously I'm a coach, I'm passionate about coaching, but also I understand there's such a big world outside of football or sports in general that you can make an impact just by having that, that knowledge that you learn on the football field, how to be a leader, but you can be a leader doing anything, as a lawyer, you can do a lot of different things, right? So how do you inspire what you learn through football and giving back to kids, and so they can translate that to anything they want to become in their own lives.
Now with this camp specifically, the Beyond the Game Friday Night Lights camp, this has been going on for about 6-7 years now. This is the first time you partnered with Charging and Braxton Miller. Talk about the decision to partner and bring your guys' ideas together, and just kind of what experience you're creating for the kids here today.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about, at Ohio State, our shirts right now say you win with people. And I think it doesn't just take yourself, but you take a whole team of people to be successful. And, Braxton, has a passion to give back to kids just like I do. So I say, why am I doing this just on my own? own. So, hey, do you need help? Okay, bro, let's do it together. So we collaborate, and hopefully we can continue to do this in the future. So I think we have the same mission, and I think we have the same mission. With me being busy as a coach, I don't have time to do certain things, but like he has the passion to do it with me. So we collaborate and make things happen for the kids.
What's interesting when you were talking about what made you get into beyond the game and what you're doing now, similar to what Braxton kind of talked about a few weeks ago when we had him on our podcast, is he created a brand, Charging, and he created it during his injury year, his junior season, and wanted to, he had a passion to giving back, wanted to help out the community, the youth, and obviously love sports. Kind of just, talk about how impactful that is, being, at the top of your game, at the top level, quarterback Ohio State, and yourself playing for Ohio State. But now, there's a humbling piece to that, and kind of talk about maybe the transition to doing that, and then realizing that like my career is going to be over, and now how can I humble myself and give back to the community?
Yeah, I think for myself it was very hard, because obviously you're at that pinnacle, right? Like most people can say I go to college to go to the NFL, but when you go to Ohio State, you could really say that, right? And so you're in that position to become what you set out to become. And it can be humbling, it can be hard, obviously, like the mental stress and strain that you're so close, and people are saying, hey man, well, he didn't make it, he was a failure, all kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, man, God has a bigger plan, at the end of the day. And I think sometimes it's hard to see that in myself. And I talked to Heartline about that not too long ago, because when I became hurt as a player, right, and I kind of transitioned to like a coach, right, he was now becoming a player. Right? So catch this, right? So like, if I was probably still playing, I probably would have been so focused on me playing, I wouldn't have time to kind of mentor a young freshman coming in at Ohio State, right? Feel me around, right? So now you transitions, now he becomes a great player. He remembers me mentoring him, as I was stepping away from coaching or playing, what I'm saying, kind of turn into a coaching role, right? He goes on to kind of progress into his career at Ohio State, and becomes a great player, goes to the NFL, comes back, right? Now he becomes the coach. Guess who calls me a year and a half ago? Hey man, I'm getting promoted. Hey man, I know you know what you're talking about. You have passion for kids. Hey, I want you to come help me. That was him. That was not me. You know what I'm saying? But like, he saw a greater path. You know what I'm saying? Who I was going to become. And at the end of the day, like when you really let that happen to you, it's harder than people realize. But at the end of the day, when you can see it happen, like you're like, man, that's crazy. That all happened for a reason, you know what I mean? Because guess what? If I would have went to the NFL, who knows what I'd be doing right now? I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But I know where I am now. I'm at Ohio State, making an impact on people's lives, not only here through Beyond the Game and through football at Ohio State. I think now God has a bigger purpose. And so for me, when I talk to people about like, hey man, when things happen to you, you don't know why that's happening. Cam Babb was going through this stuff this year in the hand cam, like you don't know why it's happening. You know what I'm saying? Just stay with it. You know what I'm saying? He was about to probably just say, man, coach, I'm kind of done. Hey man, I understand, but hey man, just keep going. God has a bigger plan. We can have later, guess what? Scores a touchdown. Like it's crazy. Like you don't know who you can really impact by just saying words of encouragement, because something you've been through, right? Because now you've been through it, and you can kind of tell someone, hey man, I've been through it. You can get through it too. And guess what? That person will take that information I gave to them, and through their own testimony, it's like, man, like they're going to show someone else the path, right? So that's why we're on this earth at the end of the day.
You answered a lot of our questions, but but you touched on Brotherhood, obviously there, and so I definitely want to touch or go deeper into that. Obviously, Coach Tressel was here; he was at the camp. You got Braxton at the camp, and there's also a ton of other players that have come in previous years. Kind of just talk about how much since you've been a player, going through the locker room, and then now being back a coach, how much has the Brotherhood really just impacted you, and then how have you seen it impact other people as well?
Yeah, obviously, it's impacted me a lot, and I think that's the close bond we all have. And I think sometimes people don't really understand, like, from a fan's perspective, like they might say, oh, well, Braxton Miller, he his touchdowns, Big Ten Player of the Year, but then like, when you really get around guys, like people respect me. You know what I'm saying? Like just the same way of like, because like they see, man, like you've been through a lot, you're doing a lot. So like in the locker room, like it's all mutual respect. You know what I'm saying? There's no guy that's like up here and a guy is down here. Like you walk in our locker room now, like you might look at Marvin Harrison, but Marvin's looking at Reese Stockstill. People don't know Reese Stockstill. Oh, that's one of his best friends. They go train together. They go catch jugs together. But like a fan probably wouldn't know that. But Reese probably is the most respected person in our locker room to Marv. Does that make sense? And a fan probably has no idea. right? And it's like, that's the brotherhood, you know, because we're not looking at how many touchdowns you throw or how many you catch or how many tackles you made. Like, we're looking at, bro, you're my guy. You know what I'm saying? I know what you've been through. I know what you're going through. We go through the same struggles. And so when guys are going through the brotherhood, whether it be like as a younger guy or an older guy, like, it's all the same. It's all the same. So we don't look at that, you know. And that's the thing people don't really understand because they're not part of it. And so when I'm throwing a camp, I'm doing something in the community, guys will tell you, hey bro, that was dope, man. Like, man, how can I be involved? You know what I'm saying? And these are guys who probably, House of fans will probably look at them like, man, that's crazy. That dude's hitting Devin Jordan up. Look, who's Devin Jordan? Like, people don't really probably know who I am. But so I inspire guys who have done great things on the football field, right? But that's my realm, and that's the brotherhood that people don't really understand. It's not about what you've accomplished on the field. It's who you are. I mean, when you get older and you see, like, when you're in college, you're like, and we're losing games, we're winning games, right? But now it's okay, we're losing teammates. You know what I'm saying? We're putting people on the ground. Like, it's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just about the wins and losses anymore. I mean, it's like, man, this is real life. You know what I'm saying? There's like, we perform on the field so much, but it's like, man, there's so much more than just the field. And that's what people don't really understand and see. But the brotherhood, we understand that. And so for me, it's good to see that impact I have on others, you know, whether it be someone that's coming after me, like a Braxton Miller, who people know about, and he's hitting me, hey, Devin, man, you've done a great job beyond the game. How do we partner, man? I want to help. Like, I'm going to grow. Like, I see what you're doing. All right, Braxton, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, it's humbling, but that's what the brotherhood is.
I think you really see it when you come to a camp like this and you see just how many former coaches, how many former players are here from different generations, different, you know, time frames. I think it's so evident to people who maybe can't see it, who aren't in the locker room, just to see what you've put together here. But if you could talk a little bit more about Beyond the Game and just how people can get involved, what's coming up, just how can people get in the know?
Yeah, so you know, obviously our website is just gobeyondthegame.org, so you can check out our website, see what our programs we have, and obviously we're expanding throughout, you know, the state of Ohio, but also nationwide. You can reach out to us via email, how you want to get involved, being volunteer. We have people who sponsor our programs, our in-school programs for guys with ties and girls with pearls, and I think there's a lot of ways that you can get involved, but the biggest thing is go on our website, check us out, email us, see how you want to get involved. But I think we always need support. We want to grow. But at the end of the day, we're doing it for the kids. You know, we're trying to help out young lives who are being changed and impacted, and the only way we can. So big things we got coming up. We're trying to do a fundraiser, I believe in July, in Columbus. Company's throwing us a fundraiser. We want to get over 20 schools, our guys with ties and girls with pearls in Columbus area. So we're going to do that in July, and a lot of former players and coaches are going to be involved in that. But I'm really excited about it because it's like, it's something that you kind of start, you have a vision with. And I was talking to Coach Trussell about this. He's like, Devin, I remember the first fundraiser you had. It was at this little basketball. It was like, when was that? What year was that, man? I think it was like 2016. I was like, yeah, it was 2016, Coach. He was there. And now he sees it, and now he's like, man, Devin, this is crazy because I was like, you know, I was 6-7 years ago, and you started this, and now you're in Hawaii, you're in all over the country. It's like, you started this, and I was there. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, well, Coach, you helped me start this. You know what I'm saying? You put the vision, like, of giving back, and like, you were at my first event. Like, remember Coach Trussell's a busy guy. You're at my first event to throw a fundraiser for me, and now you come back to a camp and you see it like 7 years later. You're like, Devin, you did a great job. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, that's what we want to keep building. It's like, I want to keep going because like now you see your college coach who did so much for me, inspired me. And it's like, he's like, even saying, great job. I mean, that's like, that to me, that's saying a lot. Like, Coach Trussell don't, like, when you get a great job from Coach Trussell, like, yeah, you did a great job.
For sure, yeah.
So I think it's very humbling, but to see him, you know, inspire me and see it grow, it was a good day.
Well, no, I'm definitely grateful for you. I'm grateful for you allowing us to come out here and, you know, have this interview and then be a part of this camp. This is my first time here. This is
my seventh.
Yeah.
7 times.
Yeah.
So she's been here just,
Seven.
she's been here from the start. So, and she's been filling me in on just, you know, all the tremendous work that you've done.
While still being a coach at Ohio State, let's just say.
True. And the receivers. Real quick, looking back, try to think back to like when you first started, and then now to this moment where you are. Like when you come out to the event today, like how does that make you feel knowing where you started?
I mean, it's almost like surreal because really this was probably the first year where I really didn't do that much. You know what I'm saying? Like you grow a team, you start something, you start growing a team, people start doing the work, and you're kind of filling in the gaps here and there, but you're like, okay, and then you kind of show up. Like, I think one of the most inspiring things, like, you know, the camp today was great. You know, we didn't do much work, but I think I went to Las Vegas. We were in spring break for spring ball. I went to Las Vegas to go to 3 schools who have My Guys with Ties and Girls Pros program. So I'm like walking in, you know, as a guy who kind of set the groundwork for the schools that have the program, but I want to go out and just, you know, check them out. So I'm like walking in, right? And boys are in like a shirt and tie. What up, Coach Jordan? I'm like, bro, I don't know who this kid is, but he knows who I am. I live all the way in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kid like knows who I am. Like, little girls, hey, what's up, Coach? High five. Like that to me is special. This person lives all the way across the country and knows who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, I almost like want to cry thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy to say like I started this. I'm like, man, I had a vision to do this, and it's all across the country, and these kids know who I am. So that's pretty dope. It has nothing to do with football. Nothing to do with football. Like, nothing. Like, I'm a football coach, and they're saying hi coach. I'm a coach, and they know I'm a coach. But it's like they're like dressed in shirt and ties and little, you know, pink shirts, pearls. Like it's pretty sweet.
That's a dope moment, for sure.